Hi, I'm with Venus O'Hara. Welcome to a new video. Long time no video. I was just going through lots of old videos on this channel and I just realized how much I adore making videos, and it had been a long time since I've made a non-review video. So here I am, super inspired, and I wanted to talk about a topic that is quite provocative. And the title of this video is How Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips have affected my business. Obviously not directly, they don't know who I am, but I'm talking about the phenomenon of OnlyFans and the extreme acts that they are known for. If you are unfamiliar with these two young ladies, they are OnlyFans models, OnlyFans, can we say that, creators, who have been, who've got into a lot of mainstream press talking about some very extreme things that they've been doing. And just recently, Bonnie Blue has been featured in a Channel 4 documentary called 1000 Men and Me, because she slept with 1000 men or over 1000 men in 24 hours or something like that. And I first came across these creators last Christmas when I was doing Vlogmas, and someone asked me, one of my followers asked me to actually discuss the Lily Phillips documentary at the time, which is when she slept with 100 guys in a day. So I had no idea who these people were, but I just started looking into it, and I do find the whole thing absolutely fascinating. It does raise lots of questions about sexuality, about consent, about empowerment or exploitation, and of course how it affects me is how we perceive erotic content and stigma attached to it. Obviously these two girls are doing very extreme things. It's not just a couple of sexy pictures, they're doing very extreme acts, but I think it's raising questions that are part of something much bigger, such as, you know, what we call simp culture, which is kind of making content for people who are just paying to consume content, erotic content behind a paywall, and potentially connect through chats or kind of messaging with these creators as well. I saw a video a couple of years ago about OnlyFans, and they called it OnlyFans Lonely Fans. So I think sometimes to some degree it is kind of exploiting the loneliness epidemic. I'm not sure, it can bring a lot of meaning and connection and companionship to lots of people, there's no doubt about that, but there must be better ways, surely. Anyway, this is not to villainize anyone, but I wanted to talk about how this phenomenon has affected my business. When I started my blogging journey 16 years ago, my first idea of a business model was to have a fetish website, which I still have, venusohara.org, and I was going to create a paywall, and behind it I was going to be showcasing my fetish photos. They were non-explicit, and for me it was a massive expression of my artistic creativity. I've always been very creative. I've always been a big fan of the female form. I actually studied fine arts, and I focused mainly on female nudes. So I've always seen the beauty and the art of the female form. But then later in my mid to late 20s, I started to actually do some modeling myself, and I found it incredibly empowering. It was just so, I don't know, it was a feeling of, seeing a good picture of yourself, knowing your best angles, having ideas and then making those ideas happen. It was really fun, and I just really enjoyed it, especially fetish photography, because fetishism is in general, it can be, well, the fetishism that I was interested in was kind of non-explicit, and it was more about activating the imagination. I'll give you an example. For example, if you see just a picture of someone, just the face with the mouth open and a blindfold, your imagination can kind of conjure up lots of scenarios in there. It's not just about what you see, it's about what you imagine. And that type of interaction with the spectator was something that I really wanted to provoke. It was really fun. It's kind of cryptic as well. And I really like the fetish mind that it has lots of attention to detail. It's not about the obvious things, it's more about the very subtle details. And that type of thinking is something that I do find alluring and seductive. So I wanted to be part of this type of content creation and make money from it while I slept, while having this paywall and having, let's say, subscription-based galleries on there. And I was making content, I was writing about fetishism as well, to actually get people to my website, to drive traffic and then send them to these to the members area. So just earlier this year, when there was lots more talk about OnlyFans and let's say erotic content in general, and I was having some technical issues with my website, and I had some guys writing to me saying, "Oh, my password's not working, blah blah blah," and I just started thinking to myself, do I want to kind of hire some web developers to sort this mess out, because the website had not been updated for a very long time, not just in terms of content but in terms of technical aspects, and I just could not be bothered, because I think more recently I've been getting more into more spiritual personal development content. So to actually to provide a content that's just for, let's say, personal enjoyment, for like, if you see what I mean, just did not seem right to me. Even though I do promote, you know, self-love, self-pleasure, and all of those things, it's not really about looking at pictures of me while you do that. You know what I mean? So I didn't really want to be part of that type of energy that's part of this OnlyFans culture, which is something much bigger. But I don't regret anything I've done in terms of the erotic photos that I've done in the past, because I had a lot of fun doing them, and also there was an element of body positivity in there, because I was very proud of the fact that on my website there was no Photoshop, there's no filters, everything was natural, and that's a very important statement in today's day and age, and especially with all the filters we see, all the kind of, I think it's called liquify in Photoshop, where forms are changed, and then filters, forms and colours, and all of these things that can happen, as well as plastic surgery. And I'm someone who's completely natural. And I think it's refreshing sometimes to see a picture that's erotic but with goosebumps, or the blue veins through the skin, things like that. That's really what I stood for, and I really enjoyed it for such a long time. But the thing is, you can have a good intention about things, but you can never control how things are being perceived, and I just didn't really want to pander to that type of energy of enjoyment of just photos, basically. Yeah, so I really want to see that documentary about Bonnie Blue. I've been watching lots of the interviews with them, and I'm not going to really pass any judgment on them, but I think it's a much bigger problem. That is, for example, I think with erotic content, a lot of people can think that sex sells, and that it's automatic and that it's easy, and there's always a price to pay for easy money, let me tell you that. There really is. And also, I think a lot of people just think they're not really connected to the actual creation behind it. You know, it's just about, oh, I'm going to do this and not work much to get easy money. And I just don't think that's the right attitude to have when you are making erotic content. And that's not to say that some people can make more erotic or more extreme content and enjoy it. Maybe they do. But I think once you decide to make that type of content, you might be opening some doors, but you'll be closing many other doors, and you have to kind of be real about what the judgment you're going to face, and what the consequences are for making erotic content, because we do live in a world that's very hypocritical, and even the people who are consuming your content behind closed doors are the ones who are not going to be hiring you in a job interview, you know, if you want to do something that's, let's say, that's not OnlyFans or similar. So I do think there's lots of hypocrisy on about this type of thing as well. But I just think in general, people have to kind of be aware of what they're doing, and even if you have the right intention, you can never control how things are being perceived or what the effect is of this content on people. And that's why I don't believe in the term ethical porn. I don't think porn can ever be ethical. It can be made with an ethical intention, yes, but you can never control how it's being consumed. You can't control if someone is being excessive with their consumption, even if something is made in ethical conditions. And you can never be 100% sure about the why or about the motives of the people performing in it either. You can never fully, you can't, there are no guarantees about it. So I do think it's a bit of a sticky topic, quite literally, but for me it just does not feel aligned anymore. But I do enjoy taking erotic selfies, but they're just kind of like for my own private use these days. Yeah, so that's it. So I wanted to make a little video just to kind of talk about something that's trending at the moment. I'm really interested in this phenomenon and these debates that I'm seeing about Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips online. It's just so, everyone's just fascinated by it. And what I think is fascinating as well is that how much the adult industry has changed. I mean, years ago when it started, it was more about just this voyeur thing of watching how people have sex. Like, that to some degree can be educational, but now it seems to be a race to the bottom where we're just looking at things that are very extreme, not always for arousal, but also kind of like, oh my god, she did what? Let me look. It's like, oh, it's kind of like this fascination of the extreme things that humans are going to do. And also I do think the more extreme things, sometimes you might have a certain taste that might be kind of vanilla, but you can quite easily go down these different rabbit holes and need more extreme content to actually get that same amount of satisfaction. I do think that's kind of a dangerous place to be in. I've never liked porn, actually, and it's funny because a few years ago, well, maybe 10 years ago, I was a judge at the Spanish Porn Awards, and I was kind of interested in doing that because I actually had to spend about 2 or 3 days just watching the nominations, and I was disturbed. I was like, oh my god, people get off on this? This is crazy. But I mean, we don't be judging what other people get off on, but it just didn't seem like a celebration of intimacy, and that's what I really want to share in my work, is a celebration of intimacy and sacred energy exchange. And not everyone thinks sex is sacred. It is definitely a personal expression, but I think content creation is about sharing your lens with the world. I'll give you an example. For example, if you do go to an art class, you could be drawing still life, let's say some fruit or a vase of flowers, or even a naked model. And you might all have the same stimulus, but every single painting or drawing that's going to be produced in those circumstances will be very different, because everyone's giving their own vision and perspective to the world. And that's what happens with sexuality as well. It's a very personal expression, and my expression of it is really a celebration of intimacy and aliveness and love sometimes as well. And I'm actually creating a course now called The Art of Transcendental Sex. I'm so excited about it. I really want to help people connect with themselves. I want to help promote pleasure, not promote pleasure, but promote the idea of prioritizing pleasure. And I also want to help couples really connect on deeper levels that go beyond the body. So I'm very much in favor of sexuality and sexual wellness content, education, and also tips on how to enhance your experience in the bedroom or outside the bedroom. So I'm not a prude at all in terms of sexuality. I think it's really an important part of life that does not get discussed as much as it should be. And I think it'd be nice to kind of move these conversations away from the type of things that Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips are doing, and try and maybe have more awareness or visibility about really healthy ways of enjoying your body and connecting with another. And something that makes me sad about this type of content as well, I just think sometimes, this is maybe a little bit of an add-on, but watching all the interviews that I've seen of these two girls, the way they discuss potential relationships, I think is quite sad. I do think connecting with another human on an emotional level is one of the most beautiful things you can experience in life, definitely. And of course you can experience that through sexuality, intimacy as well. Yeah, so what do you think about this? It's a bit of a hot topic these days. It's very hot here in Barcelona, by the way. A heat wave happening right now. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts below. I'm going to be back hopefully with some more regular content these days. I'm trying to kind of formulate what I want to be sharing on here. I haven't quite got the clarity yet because I have many interests, but I want to keep it on topic with what I want to be known for and what I want to get paid for. Anyway, if you have any ideas for me about future content, any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment below, or you can write to me at venus@venussahara.org. And yeah, thanks for watching and see you soon. Mwah. And also, if you want to check out my podcast, The Orgasmic Lifestyle, check out the link in the description below. I also have a life upgrade meditation. I also write on Substack. I write some of my juiciest content on there. So all the links of my other things are below in the description. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Mwah.